Good morning, everyone. My name is Olivia Capello, and I am the daughter of a Roe-era feminist. She taught me from a very young age that reproductive rights are sacred. Though they are fundamental to our autonomy, their status as constitutional rights has never been secure. She made certain I never took them for granted. I arrived at Smith College in fall 2010, ardently pro-choice and passionate about social justice. But I had yet to identify as a reproductive justice advocate, because I simply just hadn't heard the term. When I did, I immediately knew that I was already part of a movement that encompassed everything I love. The reproductive justice movement is a movement that connects all spheres of social justice: health equity, economic fairness, civil rights, and more, to work for a vision beyond just reproductive rights alone. It is a movement not only about abortion, and certainly not only about women. I believe that this movement is at its core about access to resources, to healthcare that's affordable, comprehensive, and non-discriminatory, to childcare, job assistance, and paid leave, to safe, secure housing and living conditions. Access to the things that we need to really have choice. Every time access to these resources is threatened, reproductive justice is threatened. And when that happens, we all are harmed. I believe that access shouldn't be dictated by privilege. Everyone, regardless of their race, class, nationality, gender, sexuality, or ability, is entitled not only to the right to choose, but the right to have choices and autonomy in their lives as valued individuals. Ensuring that access is freely available ensures that reproductive justice will exist. Without reproductive justice, we lose the ability to have relationships with whom we want, to have or not to have children, and to parent those children to the best of our ability. Moreover, we lose the ability to determine our futures. These are the battles that my mother's generation and the generations after hers have fought. We see them continue to happen in our hospitals, our legislatures, and our courts. They happen as food stamps are cut, clinics are shut down, and voters are disenfranchised. They happen as we witness and experience transphobia, homophobia, ableism, and other discrimination in our lives. And I know that my generation, our generation, is ready to fight back. We are supporters, organizers, policymakers, and rabble-rousers. We are united because this affects everyone, regardless of their sex or their social group. We are all coming together, and we must come together to fight not just for reproductive rights, but for human rights, because without them, there's no reproductive freedom.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Yeah. It's an honor to be up here as one of the student group speakers. I came to the reproductive justice movement in two parts, starting when I was what one could describe as an apathetic youth, circa the 6th grade. In the 6th grade, we had to write these persuasive speeches, and it was kind of like a competition. And in line with my apathetic youth persona, I decided to write mine about bullying and how bullying is bad because it's mean. So what people would describe as common sense. And so in the end, I had this 5-page speech about essentially nothing, because I was in 6th grade and cared about very little past elementary school social hierarchies. Needless to say, I won nothing. I'm still mad about it. But one of my friends who had this speech about why abortion was wrong made the cut. And in retrospect, it seems crazy that an 11-year-old can form an opinion on why abortion is wrong and abortion is murder and all these very philosophical and scientific concepts that I, even in adulthood, barely understand. But that being said, imagine this. Imagine me the quintessential apathetic youth who knew only of the world what I learned from my insulated bubble of Christian school, Christian family, Christian friends, and a media intake that was limited to Disney Channel and Pokemon. Listening to this speech on the immorality of abortion and being strongly convicted that this criminalization and this demonization of abortion was wrong. And so I did something very uncharacteristic of the apathetic youth, and I Googled reproductive justice, and I never turned back. I started becoming more informed, and I became more vocal, and I volunteered, and I campaigned, and I became that person in high school. And then I went away to college and I joined CLPP, and that is the second part of how I came to the reproductive justice movement. And all I can say is that I had this quiet fire in me that was lit when I was in 6th grade, and CLPP gave it oxygen, and I transitioned from a supporter to really an activist. And to this day, I still think about what it was about my friend's anti-abortion speech that I felt so strongly about, or why I really felt anything at all, considering my upbringing. And I still don't have the answer, but what I can say is that I believe that in every person there is this spark of human compassion and empathy that was lit in me that day when I unintentionally stepped into this movement. And we can throw around facts and statistics as much as we want, and important as they are, but at the end of the day, there is a face and a name and a story behind every one of those numbers. And there are real people, not just people who identify as women, but people who matter so deeply to this world. And that is what I was feeling for then and what I am working for now, and why I and every person in this room and every person in this movement do what they do and believe what they believe. And to me, I don't believe that I would be fighting a battle that I believed was hopeless, and I think that sentiment is generally true. So what I can assume is this, that despite any kind of complexities and issues anyone has in their personal lives, I am here and we are here because the world that we believe in is kind. Thank you.